या फिर उसके उनके पास मसला ये होता है कि वो एक आर्टिकल के लिए या फिर एक टॉपिक के लिए कैसे वो न्यूज़ जनरेट करें.
Kind of like what we do with artificial intelligence, that everybody knows that we try to mimic a human behavior, right? So it kind of goes the same way. When we look at the artificial technology side as Watson, so that would be the last name that you need to hear because mostly you go custom with Google and Cortana, and because they're like more user-friendly or more, end-user-based sort of a thing. Everybody has access to them, everybody can use it. But usually what ends up happening with IBM is that, like most of you probably know, the best acquaintance you have with IBM is probably of their laptops, the ThinkPads, or probably the floppy disks that they used to make back in the day. Because this does explain the majority perception that IBM is probably a very restrictive hardware-making company. I know that a lot is changing so far, and IBM has also dived into this, social media marketing, and probably you visit their page sometimes as well. And you hear this word, coming along a lot, Watson. So, what it's really about? Is it something that every one of us can use? I'm afraid, yes, you can, because it comes as a part of our cloud, and on cloud we offer like these free live services that everybody can use, and all of these are like API-based sort of thing. So you can like hit about 10,000 APIs and guess for yourself if this is something that you really need for your business. I'm going to go a couple of these so that we can start off on a good base on this conversation. So Watson can analyze, your tone, your personality, your the conversation that you are having with another person. So it's kind of like if your business requires you to actually, communicate or target a market base that you have never had, then you can use something like Watson API that comes in like 15 different shapes on cloud, and see where your use case fits the best. There are a few use cases that I have brought here, like probably you have seen this name Autodesk. So Autodesk is a 3D modeling tool. This is basically mostly used by the architects, by the engineers, I would say more, and the automotive industry. So they use this tool to actually build these models before they go into production, before they actually go about doing the physical thing or getting the right machinery for the job, right? So for their clients, one of the basic problems that they usually end up with is the subscription model, because all their softwares are license-based. So what happens is, like, at the end of the day, about a month, they hit about 100,000 queries from customers that ask them for renewal of their license. And this would take up about 1.5 years for them to actually get them a proper license based on their subscription. So instead of going all this hassle, they decided to go with something a chatbot. I would just generically use it. They use Watson, right? So with Watson, what first thing that they did, that they were able to cut down on their, hello, what I can do for you today, expense from $15 to $200 to about $100 per day. So it's a huge improvement for a company of Autodesk size, right? Once again, the conversation that they were having about a month, it can do about 100,000 conversations that would target 60 different use cases within that organization. So it would eliminate all the need to, actually consult a coworker or someone who does the same job as you but has a very different experience than yours and would help you to actually answer some of the questions. So instead, the chatbot does it for you. So it kind of like eases their business. A very different approach was taken by Coca-Cola. Nothing on the chatbot sort, but more towards the visual recognition softwares. So what they did is, what happens is when their technicians go on the site and they try to repair the machines, the vending machines, I would say, that would actually dispense the Coca-Cola and other beverages out there. So in order to fix those machines, they have to continuously consult other technicians that, hey, have you encountered this problem that usually happens with the compressor? I heard you talking about it a while back. So this kind of a way, since they don't have the experience, it takes way, way, way longer for them to diagnose an issue. So what Coca-Cola did with IBM and Apple, they integrated their whole documentation on something service called Discovery that IBM offers. So what Discovery does is, like, in it you can ingest all of your related documents related to your organization, and when you base a certain query against it, it would give a response to you from a certain paragraph in that particular PDF that you have ingested a while back. So integrating that with the visual recognition service, it allows it, because visual recognition, again, returns certain parameters back. You have to train it, just like every other AI. There are certain use cases that you need to target explicitly, for which you need the training. Visual recognition, as I'm going to show you in a while, it offers some off-the-shelf, basic visual recognition capabilities, but for the specific use cases, you might have to train it at the end of the day. So, similar thing happened for the Coca-Cola. They were able to diagnose the issues just by, snapping a picture from their iPads or iPhones and, perform the analysis then and there. So they wouldn't have to go back to the office to, discuss the situation and then come back the next day and, make the client wait who's serving like 500 customers in that restaurant. So all of this is for the, I would say, in the efficiency of improving the efficiency of the organizations that exist today, the big organizations. So moving forward. Okay, so our goal today, I'll just brief you. I was thinking about doing 5 services, so I'll just go over 3. So to give you a very basic idea of as to what you can expect if you visit the cloud platform. So NLU is one of them. NLU allows you to actually explicitly identify if a tone in a certain passage is of anger, is of disgust, is of happiness, if someone likes your comments or not, so on and so forth. This is a basic, we'll say, a demonstration, a demo made from the APIs that are already ingested in there. So once you click this and analyze, it would get out these sentiments for you. So it thinks that the overall tone was positive. The emotions that are involved in there, mostly joy. There was a bit of sadness in there. So the AI is actually assisting you in your daily job. Instead of you doing this behind the desk, assessing each and every customer and trying to guess out what they really want, the API does it for you. So you can base your results on this. So this was a bit of a natural understanding. So within the concepts and within the categories, it also categorizes the results for you. Let's say if a student belongs to a certain university, it's going to write it as university/student. So it's going to classify things for you if you ever need it in your data in a certain sort of way. So moving forward. The next service would be our personality insight. So the personality insights allow you to, just like I said, it's going to allow you to assess a certain person, a certain personality that you want to go. I've been hearing about social personalities such as Sharif or other political personalities that you want to, base your analysis upon. So you can use the trigger handler, like this esteemed gentleman was telling you about how you can actually analyze the trigger data. So you can use all of that and ingest it in this service called Personality Insight, and it's going to, define all the characteristics for you, like based on the 32,000 words that they have written on Twitter. We think that this personality is, like this is for opera, right? So she's interested in Latin music. She's going to start a business in a few years. She mostly does the credit card payments. So this is more of towards the, if you want to do the targeted marketing sort of thing for your organization. So this is where it comes in handy. So it does the same thing for the Pope. It analyzes the result for the Pope. It's about, it's going to be a big corpus because he does post a lot. So very strong analysis about 3,000 words would be in there, 30,000 words would be in there. So he volunteers for the social cause. He reads entertainment magazines. He has a gym membership. So all of these analyses are made by Watson, like off the shelf. So you wouldn't need to train a corpus in order to, integrate this sort of information in your own projects. So next would be visual recognition. So on visual recognition, you can, based on the feed that you give it, like you're going to see from this demo, that whenever I feed it a certain image, it gets out some sorts of information for me. I mean, there's this image that I got, in my back alley. So there's my car, there's some random guy's car. So it's going to classify that as it's a car. It's a two-wheel car, to be more specific. There's a gray color, gray ash color. The car is there, the sedan is there. There's a certain confidence level attached with it. But to be more specific, like the one that we see over here, this model is trained for an insurance agency. The company that actually, assesses your car if it's under a certain accident and whether you are eligible for a certain claim. So they can feed it to this corpus that they build on the back end because, again, data is everywhere. Data is with every other organization that you go out to. Because when you bring your car to them or when you ask them to visit a certain area, they're going to take certain pictures of your car against which the claims will be made legal. So that's basically how the whole training aspect of this works. So if you have a certain use case, you can train it on it. So discovery, I've discussed a brief about this before, that you can ingest your own documents in there. This one just searches through about 26 million articles on the internet and gets the best possible results for you. I guess this one would be more for the ladies. Like if I search the L'Oreal in there and based on how much further back I want to go, about 2 weeks, 2 months, it's going to get out all of the feeds, all of the related articles related to L'Oreal and what people think about it more in general. So it's going to look something like this, like some of the top stories you're going to see. They're going to be about how better their skincare system is and how well they're good with their customers. And naturally, normally they have like about 10% negative interest, and all of these related analysis are being made live on your account. So quickly moving forward. So just a normal conversation I'm going to make with you, and that conversation I would say I have a version of it on the dashboard. So basically, what happened is because I see young faces more over here, so I'm going to relate this most to you. I would say that incentive mechanism works best for you in an educational environment. When a teacher asks you that you're going to receive a certain CGPE, the reason why our middle tier work, the inter-system fails, is because you are not part of a proper college system. So the end result really doesn't matter to you. Like, jaldi se mera yahan se paayega, theek hai, I get an 80% and I enter a good university, theek hai. ये जो पूरा जो बीच का पीरियड होता है, इसके लिए आपकी कोई खास मीनिंग नहीं होती. Probably, I don't know, आप लोग कितने अच्छे दोस्त बनाने में, लेकिन I don't think कि किसी के दोस्त होंगे उस टाइम से, उस पर्टिकुलर 2 साल के अंदर. जो मोस्टली आप लोग के दोस्त होंगे, probably आपके स्कूल से चलते आ रहे होंगे, या probably आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी में होंगे, ठीक है? तो as a human being, हम लोग prefer करते हैं इस तरह की चीजें कि हमारे पास जो है कोई incentive हो, कोई goal हो to drive towards, ठीक है? अब यूनिवर्सिटी के अंदर आप होते हो, मुस्तकिल आपको जो है आपस में कंपैरेटिव नेचर होती है, आपको रैंक किया जाता है कि यार if you receive a 4 CGPE, you're classified as the greatest guy in the world, ठीक है? और आपको जो है like by third year you have a job in your hand, right? So आप उसकी तरफ वर्क करते हो, आपके incentives build किए जाते हैं, ठीक है? और further on जब आप finally graduation ceremony में पहुंचते हो, तो वहाँ पे जो है आपको ग्रीट किया जाता है, आपके सारे स्कूल के colleagues होते हैं, sorry, university के colleagues होते हैं, and you have your parents with you who are proud of you, तो एक तरह से आपकी self-esteem बढ़ती है, and then you can, the next day, you have your interview with a great organization and you totally nail it, ठीक है? Because you have owned this entire process, और आप लोगों की probably 3.5 आई, अगर कम लोग नहीं वो भी खुश होते हैं, क्योंकि 2.5 होती है ना, वो भी खुश हो रहे होते हैं, चलो यार जानते छुट्टी, सही है? तो पूरा एक इंसेंटिव मैकेनिज्म डिजाइन किया हुआ है इन सारी क्या कहते हैं यूनिवर्सिटीज ने. इसका सिमिलर वर्जन मैंने इसके अंदर यूज किया था. आई थिंक इसको बहुत सॉरी है. हाँ बस आई थिंक दिस वुड बी इनफ. तो इसके अंदर जो है one back. So yeah, first run this one. So थोड़ा सा सिमिलर वर्जन इसका थोड़ा सा टाइप आउट करके एक कोशिश की थी कि इसके अंदर वाटसन की एक तरह से रिस्पॉन्स आता है. And it thinks that my speech will be 0.5% positive. It has more element of joy in there. And then this is like some of the keywords that I've highlighted from my conversation. And there is a classification, education, homework, so it has classified them accordingly. And moving forward, it has a few things about my personality as well. So let's do that test as well. So the weak analysis is there because there's not much for based results, but it says that I'm a historical movies, I like poetry, social work, I'm mostly influenced by social media as well. So I'm about 89% open. There's 43% of introvert in me. About 96% curious, challenging 91%, and lots and more. And these things can be, further classified later on. This is just a demo for you to see what the actually is, just a nice visual representation of it. So I won't take much of your time. For those of you who want to see what Watson and all of these capabilities are all about, be my guest and take a picture of this and take home and just walk on it when you have time. Okay? Thank you for your time. Okay.
I just wanted to invite, I guess, Amit is off here, but we had one session for the Q&A. I would invite Amin, Mohammed,